Hello and welcome to this presentation of WSOU News Interviews. I'm Ryan Henry, the news director, joined alongside Kyus, Wright, and Billy Agustin, the president and vice president of the Seton Hall Theater Council. Before we get into things, how are you two doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Really good.
Yeah.
The weather's outside is very nice.
Yeah,
Starting to finally become fall weather, getting out all sorts of paraphernalia, my favorite time of the year, personally. So, before we kind of get into more deeper things, just tell us about what is Seton Hall Theater for those who are not familiar.
Yeah, theater is really just, here it's a great community, but really what we do is productions, obviously theater performances, but we have a lot of opportunities for actors and tech and directing, and basically we're a community that loves to give opportunities to students with whatever they want to do.
right. We're a co-curricular that works in tandem with the academic theater department. So we do a mix of shows that are kind of primarily headed by faculty and also shows that are more student-led. That's where we come in as the theater council.
So your two, upcoming productions, Alice is coming up this weekend, Pride and Prejudice is later on this month. Can you tell me a bit about what is your rendition of these two shows?
So I can start with Alice. I'm stage managing that particular production, and it's slated as like our family-geared sort of children's show. We do it annually every year for University Day and the University Weekend, and it's directed by an alumni, so she's got a really fun spin on this production. It's not really a traditional Alice in Wonderland. We've kind of modernized it a little bit. A lot of the actors add their own kind of flair to those characters. One of the kind of things that she's adopted in it is a little bit of like an 80s flair to it. There's a lot of like 80s music kind of being mixed in, kind of being used, and some like choreographed bits. And she's overall like done a lot with the script that's not written in there, made it her own. And I would say that the actors themselves have also added a lot to that particular experience.
Yeah, and then so Pride and Prejudice is coming up the week after this one. So basically our version of Pride and Prejudice is a comedic spin on the story that's originally obviously written to be more dramatic, but our version, written by Kate Hamill, is very funny, lots of slapstick comedy, very over-the-top performances, really just a fun show to be in and a fun show to watch. And it's been really fun. We've been working on it for the past month and a half, and it's just been great. I'm an actor in it, but been helping with sets and stuff, so that's like all the set that we've been building by ourselves, and it's been really fun and a really fun process. New lighting and stuff, so lighting all the shows, and it's just been a really fun process on both ends for both shows.
Right, on both fronts.
So how is it, how is it running two productions kind of concurrently? Obviously, Alice comes out a little bit before, but you've been working on both shows, I assume, essentially at around the same time. Maybe you started Alice a couple weeks earlier, but how has it been managing two productions essentially going on at the same time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little difficult just with everything that needs to be done. They're both a bit set heavy. I would say, like, not set heavy necessarily, but there's a lot of moving parts, I know, in my experience going into Alice, and I know for Pride and Prejudice, they've been working on a lot of different set builds and whatnot. And we only really have one space where we can work on all of those things, and also one space where actors are able to rehearse those things. And those are the particular challenges that we're facing. But all in all, I would say a lot of support from the community, from our community, and a lot of people who are willing to put in the work to kind of allow things to move smoothly. And I think we're managing pretty well, all things considered, even if it is a little stressful, but yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of want to now lean a little bit more towards you two individually in terms of your involvement in theater. Whether it was at Seton Hall or maybe even before then, what drew you to theater and, performance arts, whether it was at Seton Hall or even if you did a lot beforehand?
Yeah, so I've been in the theater scene now for, we got to be hitting like close to 10 years or something like that. I started back when I was in middle school, so it's been a little while. But really what drew me to the scene is the community. I've never met a more welcoming community of people who are also just so passionate about the same thing, which is theater. And I mean, obviously, I'm a theater major here, so of course I'm going to be in this community here. But I was glad when I came here to see if that community didn't change. It wasn't just something that I met when I was younger, but it continues to be the same thing here. Everyone is so passionate. Everyone is so welcoming. I mean, the people here are amazing, and that's really what makes this experience so fun.
I know for me, I also kind of did a little bit of it in high school. I'm not a theater major or anything, but I think it's just a really good way to allow yourself to be creative. And I know when I primarily started out doing it in high school, I did a lot of acting stuff. I would say what's unique about Seton Hall's theatrical experience is there are so many opportunities to try different things. And I really encourage people within, our organization to kind of branch out what kind of disciplines they want to start or just explore, because I got a lot of opportunities to direct or to stage manage or do tech of some kind, and those are things that I've never really tried in the past. And here at Seton Hall, you have so many chances to do that and so much support and so many ways to kind of experiment and make that thing that you're experimenting with almost your own, and it's really fun.
Yeah, how has it been? Learning, you said you were familiar with a lot of acting, but how's it learning those more behind-the-scenes technical stuff of a director or a stage manager, or just, setting up? How has it been kind of learning, doing both at the same time, or learning the other side as well?
I have a lot of fun with it, and, sometimes when you're doing one to the other, there's always a bit of a learning curve. I know people who have done tech that have kind of shifted towards acting, and, there's different dimensions to it. I would say, though, that, we have a lot of mentors, students, faculty, or otherwise, who, in my experience, have been able to kind of, shape a creative voice or show you the basics and fundamentals of that particular discipline. And for that, I'm very thankful, because it's allowed me to be more comfortable in a particular production. I'm not just being, thrown into the deep end of the pool. So you have, different support systems, whether they're from advisors, from the faculty, but also from people who, say seniors who might have been doing this for a longer time, to learn from. And then the process of working on a production in a new discipline is always so fun, because it's kind of like exploring, being part of a show, but through a different lens.
So kind of diving into your individual roles as what is involved being both the president and vice president of the Theater Council? What are you doing behind the scenes, or whether up on front? What is your roles within the Theater Council as president, vice president?
Yeah, I mean, so as president, I've been really taking the approach of trying to make sure everything's running smoothly. Obviously, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we've never really had the chance to do before, and it's really fun. We're just really trying to make sure that the experience for anyone in the club is a really fun one. So what we've been gearing towards this year is trying to jam-pack our season with as many opportunities as possible, whether it be acting or tech or directing, and just giving the chances to people to actually do what they want to do. So we have 10 shows plus that are scheduled for this year, which is a lot, but we're really just trying to make sure that people have the opportunity. If you didn't get into one show, that's okay. You always have another one you can do right after it. That's what we like about doing, at least personally, I like about doing two shows at the same time, is that with those two different shows, you're going to have two different casts, two different groups of tech. You're going to meet people that you never would have met before, just because, with only one show going on at a time, at the end of the day, only so many people are going to be a part of it. But with so many things going on, everyone's going to be able to have a chance to be a part of something. And that's something that I'm really focusing on as president of this year, is just making sure that people have a good time and they have chances to do things that they want to do.
Right. And we have some long-term goals that we're trying to kind of form. One of them being, as Kyus mentioned, just retention and making sure there are opportunities to be involved, and making sure that we're public about those opportunities as well. And we're trying to build an alumni network as well, trying to do outreach there. We just started a newsletter up this year that's supposed to be geared towards alumni and faculty. So those have all been really fun experiences. And of course, we handle a lot of logistical matters as well. And though it's grueling, it's still very rewarding work.
Yeah, so how do you, obviously you're both students at Seton Hall. If you have other stuff you're involved with, whether it's other extracurriculars or maybe even if you work, how is it just juggling all of that at the same time while being so involved with your theater stuff?
A lot. It is a lot. I work. I not only do I have a work study position here for the theater department, but I also work down at SOPAC. I work box office and house manager there. So it gets a lot sometimes, but I always know that no matter what, like I'm always just going to be able to come back to the theater, and it's like my space to be able to have fun, and it feels very rewarding to, even though I am super busy. It feels nice to have so many things going on. It always keeps me busy, and it always keeps me grounded and knowing that, like, what I'm doing, everything is still very important.
Yeah. I'm on campus. I also have a campus job, and I do mock trial, as well as I'm a brother of Alpha Phi Omega. And those all together are, a lot of work. But I don't feel the need to have to micromanage every single production that passes through Seton Hall Theater, because we have a very strong network of competent people. I mean, I think that we can fall back on a lot of our own executive board members, even general council members, who are all very passionate about these projects. So again, I guess it goes back to community. I have full faith and belief in them that they're able to manage themselves. And, we can still play like some kind of primary position in that, but allow other people to kind of explore their own voices as well.
Yeah, and so you obviously, did you both join as freshmen, or did you join as sophomores? When did you both join? Just seeing, how have you seen it grown from when you've joined the theater department to where it is now? How have you seen that growth?
I mean, we both joined as freshmen, actually. I mean, we met at the first interest meeting of the years, and I mean, quite a few of my friends I met there too, which was really nice.
Right.
But yeah, I've been here since the start of my freshman year, so it's been 3 years now, and we've grown so much. I mean, when I first was here, it was we were
pretty small.
We were pretty small. I want to say we've almost doubled or tripled in size since then.
Definitely.
It's been really crazy to see, and really, it just was because there were people in our department that really wanted to see this department grow, and they wanted to see it flourish, and that's the only reason why we've come so far.
Right. Like, I think there will always be interest in theater. I think it's something that a lot of people are interested in. But in the time that we've been here, I think we've been able to kind of put into place a lot more opportunities for people to get involved. For Alice, for this particular show that's slated for the University Day slot, it's the biggest cast that we've seen in our time here, and I think even prior. It's a cast of 16 with even more crew. And in the past, we've only had like a couple of people audition for some of our main stages, like say 20 to 25, but this year that's been blown out of the water. We had like about 40 come for Pride and Prejudice, which is really exciting. It's so great to see that people are looking to get involved in it.
Yeah, if someone were to be, someone was interested, whether they are a freshman or maybe they've been involved for a couple of years, what is the process of, is it just kind of like saying, reaching out to you? I know you said there's an interest meeting that you had, I assume, beginning of each semester. What is the process of kind of getting into that if they want to join?
Yeah, I mean, we have quite a few ways to get a hold of us anyway. We have an Instagram, SHU_theater. We have any of our emails, of course, like mine is Wright, KY@shu.edu. You can always email me if you want. Throw a little plug in there right now.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, we have monthly meetings. That is a full council meeting, and that's a great way to come in, get to know us, get to know the people that around, and great way to introduce yourself to us, to be, hey, I want to get involved. Perfect. We're there to help you out. We have shop hours every Friday, and basically that's a 12 to 4, and we it's a lot of tech, so we build a lot of sets, we build props, we just get things ready for shows, but it's also really just fun time to hang out, and we're always having a good time. You can get some one-on-one work with our main advisor, Professor Reeder. He's our mentor and everything, and he's a really great resource, and he's always there to help out.
Yeah, don't forget Chris too. Chris Aurelio, who I think also works with the radio station. He's often there at shop hours, and he's an invaluable resource and a point of contact for involvement. Also, you don't have to make all of these things. I really think that you get out of this kind of event what you put into it, and you can kind of scale that appropriately to your personal interests. You can, we publicize all of our auditions online. We send them out like in mailing lists as well. So if you want to audition just for one production, you don't have to be a theater major. You don't necessarily have to be a general council member. You can just go for it. And honestly, I think that's a really fun thing, just being flexible, getting to try different types of things, dip your toes in, depending on like what you want to do.
Yeah, and like even if you don't have little to none, if you have like no theater experience, we still recommend you come in, because we really just want to see people involved. And I mean, if this is something that even mildly interests you, I recommend checking it out, because that's how I got started. I didn't think I wanted to do this, and look at me now, right? So it's something that you might not even know that you are as passionate about as you actually are.
You two mentioned that the big thing that you've done to grow the program is create these more opportunities. What have you introduced, or whether you introduced or kind of since you've been introduced, that has allowed these expanded opportunities? Like even if you have like a kind of tentative schedule of what this entire year is looking like, if you have something like that.
Yeah, I mean, so we were able to start. We became a what is the word for it?
We're an SGA organization.
SGA
we
organization.
got registered last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So which really helps us out, because that gives us a budget. So we've been able to really plan a lot of our shows that we can do this year. And it's really coming down to just finding times during the year that work to have as many shows going on as possible.
Yeah. Can we give an overview of this?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So for this semester, you're directing Romeo and Juliet. It's an abridged version, but we have an audition date, right?
Yes, it is October 30th, and callbacks are November 1st.
Right.
So that's coming up in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it's a bit more lower impact. It's around a 45-minute show. So if that's something that you want to dip your toes in, and get something that's a little bit of less of a time commitment, that'd be a great way to get started.
Yeah.
But we have Romeo and Juliet. The twist on it that we're doing is that it is set in the Greek life scene of a college. So that should be pretty fun. We have It's a Wonderful Life, which is a radio show that we're doing towards the end of this semester.
Yes, for the Christmas season.
We have how many? I mean, it's like 6 shows in the second semester.
Yeah, around 6. So in total, I know we estimated about 10 shows for this year, which is much more than last year's and the year before. But second semester shows are mostly student directs. We have 2 main stages that off the top of my head are Almost Maine, and our May musical, which is Bright Star. And in between those slots, we'll have 2 student directs from seniors, and then also a one-act festival, which we do every year. That's a really fun way to get involved. And we've kind of started doing more cabarets, which is basically just collection singing showcase type of thing. I had the privilege of directing one last semester, and I would say that's one of the best ways to kind of get your toes into doing theater, and it's helped us grow the department a lot, because what we primarily focus on with those is that people have fun with it. It's just an opportunity to kind of sing a fun little song and dress up and have a good night and show that you love doing this particular thing to an audience. We pull together a show in a short amount of time, and it's student directed, it's student led, and it's always really fun.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for coming on. Obviously, you have the 2 productions, Alice, this weekend, Pride and Prejudice. If people are listening, where can they check out both of these productions?
Yeah, so we have our theater that's in the brand new U Center. So it's very nice. If you know where the art gallery is, near Jersey Mike's, we're around that area. There's some big doors that say theater on it in bright blue. And they are free admission, so you don't have to worry about buying tickets or anything. You just show up day of, and with an usher will help you to your seat.
Yeah, and if you want more information on those, you can follow us on Instagram at SHU_theater. And for Alice, I know we're on the schedule of events for University Weekend.
Okay, so if you're on the campus of Seton Hall during University Weekend, check out Alice by Seton Hall Theater Department. They've been great today. And if, like you said, if you want to check them out, are you just on Instagram at shoot_theater?
That's our
Yes.
social media.
So if you also want to check them out on social media, you can do them as well. Thank you, Kyus and Billy, for joining me today. I've been Ryan Henry, the news director. For next production, we'll see you later. Take care.